But you will study textbooks, and you will study, this is what we believe. Now, at a basic level, this is necessary. And of course, you need to study and train in one particular theology. But then, when you take a step back and you ask yourself, where did this creed come from? Who actually codified Islamic doctrines in this manner? Who actually said that in order to be a good Muslim, I need to believe in, and then you read the actual creed. We're not talking about the 6 pillars of Iman that's in the hadith of Jibreel. We're talking about Tahawi. We're talking about Ibn Taymiyyah. We're talking about Jam' al-Awam and Ilm al-Kalam. We're talking about Al-Razi. We're talking about other people. Their creeds are, of course, massive volumes. And the one thing that beginning students, maybe even intermediate students, don't realize is that there's a huge cultural, social element in the formation even of our Islamic theology. The biggest controversy within the Ummah for 700 years was the Sifat controversy. Right? How do we understand the Sifat? And the baggage from that controversy, we are still living it right now. We have the various schools that have been formed. Now, take a step back and ask yourself, did the Sahaba ever talk about this? And we know they didn't talk about it. Every one of us knows that. But then, where then did this controversy come from? If you go back and scratch the surface, do a little bit of research, you actually find that when the Muslims conquered Damascus, when they entered into Syria, in the 6th century CE, so 700s basically, 600 something, 7th century CE, when they conquered Syria, there were two groups of Christians having massive debates amongst themselves over the nature of logos. You know, the first word of the sentence, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So this controversy was center stage in Damascus. When the Muslims conquered Damascus, this controversy spilled into Islam. Okay? This controversy was so pronounced that when Muslims came, they were then forced to answer the same question. But instead of logos, it became kalam. What exactly is the kalam and the issue of the sifat? But again, the point is, where did this come from? And the same thing, by the way, of Ru'yat Allah Azza wa Jal. Ru'yat Allah. This is the classic Christian controversy. Classic, goes back to early Christianity. The issue of Qadr. Again, we know for a fact that Qadr was introduced by Ghaylan al-Damashqi. And Ghaylan al-Damashqi, again, he got it from people that were outside of the, again, disputes between Christian groups. And in the end, you know, they assassinated the vizier and all that. You know, the stories of Nizam al-Mulk and whatever, and whatnot. One of the first ulama to read the books of the Ismailiyya and to refute them, because the Muslims were confused, who are these people? And he wrote an entire book that these people, they are in reality not Muslims because they believe this. That's being relevant to the people. Okay? Now, you could take that book and start bashing modern Ismailis with it, but modern Ismailis are no longer controlling a caliphate in Egypt. They're less than 0.1% of the Ummah. And frankly, they are of no concern to us.
قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين.